So you could still save it if it's doing 2 damage to a 2/2 creature, and you give it a +1/+1, it's 3/3. It still lives, but yeah, okay.
However, I would still check the rulings on it because I'm not 100% certain on my answer. Not 100% certain. I would double check the rulings just in case. I just think that it's already been targeted. However, it does stop extra spells targeting it afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. Very useful card. Always worth having some of those as well.
Yeah. So next up we have Reclamation Sage. 2 colours, 1 green. Elf Shaman, 2/1. When Reclamation Sage enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. So for 3 mana, we get a 2/1 beat stick that also naturalises something when it comes in. I like it.
It's an elf naturaliser.
Yeah.
You put it in an elf buffing deck. Could be quite useful. Could see a bit of play, I think.
Yeah, I like him.
Okay. Next up, we've got Restock, which is a 5 mana double green sorcery card. Return 2 target cards from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Restock. That's good. I like it.
Yeah. Green likes to sometimes get stuff back, and it gets stuff that aren't just creatures back, different to black.
Can't get itself back, unfortunately, like another copy, because you exile it once you use this one. But I like that card. A bit on the expensive side. But when you absolutely positively have to get those creatures back, because like we said before, green goes through your hand quite quickly, and then you're left with nothing. This gives you a chance of getting things back, like the fake fog and stuff like that. I've won a few games by losing fogs and getting them back and holding myself off until the right moment to win before. So can be really useful to reclaim cards.
So next up we have Roaring Primadox. 3 colours, 1 green, for a 4/4 beast. At the beginning of your upkeep, return a creature you control to its owner's hand. So it's an efficient size creature, 4 mana for a 4/4. Its bounce ability is potentially awkward. Now again, it could be very useful if you've got lots of creatures that have cool come into play effects. Great then. Other than that, he is perhaps not the most useful creature unless you play it, bounce all your things, and then block a hefty creature with him. So unfortunately he dies, take the other creature with him, then you can play the creature you bounced safely.
The other combo that you could use with this is something that I was playing with a couple of years ago. It's this one and Garruk's Pack Leader, where you bounce a 3/3 creature. So every turn you're playing a 3/3. Every turn you play a 3/3 and you get to draw. So you get an additional draw every turn at the cost of playing that 3/3 creature.
Yeah.
Which can be quite handy, especially if then that 3/3 plus creature has another effect on him as well. So it could be a nice little cycle that you can keep on running. And it can return itself. So if you get to the point where you haven't got anything to return, it'll either return itself, or you can go, wait, no, hang on, I've only got token creatures here for a minute, let's keep the Roaring Primadox in my hand. So he can return himself, and the next turn you can pay the 4 and get off the Garruk's Pack Leader again. Just something to keep in mind. Next up, we've got Ruinclaw Bear, which is a 2-drop for 2 true. Classic green fare. Always good to have. 2-drop for 2/2. It's early game beat stick. Lovely little card.
The very definition of a bear. Vision 2/2. So next up we have Satyr Wayfinder. 1 colours, 1 green. Satyr 1/1. When Satyr Wayfinder enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. Well, we've seen similar creatures before. This is a more efficient version. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name of the creature that I'm thinking of, although I know it's a druid. 3 mana, it searches for forest cards to put them into hand, whereas this guy, 1 less mana, searches for any land card, but only for the top 4 cards of the library. So rather than searching your entire library like the druid, this guy only searches the top 4 cards, but it's any land card, so shop land, paint land, fetch land, whatever.
You are losing 3 cards to the graveyard though, which could be a bit of an issue when you're playing limited of 40. When it's playing 60, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
You can afford to lose those 3 cards. You've really got to not be sentimental about your deck, because you don't want to have to use all those cards in that deck. You just want to pick out the best. Also, we've seen return cards from the graveyard, so green and black, always a good combination, and this could help you with a bit of Decromancy here. This card can help you get some really powerful cards into your graveyard, and then there's some black cards that will help you get them from the graveyard onto the battlefield for free. So it could be a very, very good combination, especially at a 2 cost.
Yeah.
Nice card. Next up, we've got Shaman of Spring, which is a 4-drop for a 2/2 Shaman. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. I'm not overly keen on this card. We've seen cards like this that are cheaper before. If you do need a 2/2 elf, then it's there at a 4 with a draw, but I'd rather be paying 3 mana for it than paying the 2. Maybe if it had Convoke or something like that, that would be quite a nice little twist, but this I think I don't think you'll see much play in Limited or Standard anywhere.
It's a worse elvish aesthetic.
Yeah.
So here we have Siege Worm. This is one of the classic cards from Ravnica with Convoke. It very much embodies the Convoke ability. It is a 5 colourless green worm, 5/5, with Convoke and Trample. So on the offset, 7 mana for a 5/5 with Trample is hefty. Not great, but not terrible. However, the Convoke means you can play it pretty quickly if you're playing lots of small creatures. And it's really useful from then on.
And also, it's common, which is the amazing thing about it. That a 7-drop for a 5/5 in green isn't too much to ask for. I think that if you were playing something else like blue or red, then yeah, you'd be questioning a 7-drop for a 5/5. But a 5/5 with Trample, and then you've got things like that Fake Fog or a +3/+3 onto it. That's going to be a game winner. That really is your bomb right there.
He's good.
For a common, that's quite a powerful common there. Okay, next up we've got our Soul card, and this is Solar Zendikar. This is a 6 double green drop, Avatar 6/6 with reach. So already, like we said about the souls in all the other videos that we've done, you're paying for what you get, and you're getting over the odds on this. This is a 6 for a 6/6 with reach. But then they come with extra abilities as well. So for 5, you get to put a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. Now, remember, beasts are really useful. Okay, you're paying 5 for a 3/3. That's a little bit hefty, but you get things for having more creatures onto the battlefield. It's quite useful in green. And then, of course, they've got, if this creature's in the graveyard, you can exile it to put a 3/3 green beast creature onto the battlefield. I like this card. I mean, the additional abilities are kind of icing on the cake for these ones. When you're paying 6 for a 6/6 with reach, you get this. You're playing green. It's lovely.
The one complaint I have about this guy is that he's got reach, not trample. I get why they've given him reach instead of trample. Trample might make him a bit good, but it bothers me. I'd rather he had trample than reach. Not that reach is bad. It's good. It's just for a 6/6 creature, trample's better.
He's going to be your blocker more than anything. I think really you're not going to be attacking with him unless you can give him vigilance or trample. You're a little bit stuck on that. And yeah, he is going to be your blocker card. He's not... to be perfectly honest, I would say the Siege Worm is probably more important to a green deck than this guy is, because he's so expensive to put the beasts out. If he was 3 mana to put a 3/3 beast onto the table, he would be amazing, because he would be your blocker, sat there, 6/6 with reach, getting rid of all those little annoying birds that are coming over, and then he keeps on putting out these 3/3 beasts. That would be perfect. But at the cost of 5, I don't know. But then you're already paying 6. I don't know. I think he could win though. I think you would win with that card.
So next up we have Sunblade Elf. This is 1 green for an Elf Warrior 1/1. Sunblade Elf gets +1/+1 on you control planes. Play 4 colourless and 1 white. Creatures you control get +1/+1 turn to turn. So here we have a very interesting creature. It's part of the cycle that we've already discussed. I actually really like this creature. Now, its 4 colours and 1 white ability is rubbish. 5 mana to give creatures you control +1/+1 turn to turn isn't great, but it can be really useful, don't get me wrong, because it affects all creatures you control, not just one. But where this guy really shines is it's a 1 mana for a 1/1. But as soon as you play a planes, it's 1 mana for a 2/2. So it's a really efficient early game elf. I like it. It's the closest we've got to the original Curd Ape without being overpowered. And no, I like it. I think it's a good creature.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, I think you could probably splash green, splash white for that, put a couple of whites in, and then you can go searching for them or something like that to make it worthwhile. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see it in play. I'd have to play it to kind of feel whether it was worth it or not. Next up, we got Terra Stomper. This is a classic green card. A nice rare. It's a 6 mana drop with triple green in its cost for an 8/8 beast. Can't be countered, and it has trample. That's a winner right there. You play that next turn, you are walking away with the game. It can't be counted. It can be removed, it can be discarded and things like that. But if you're playing against blue, it can't be. No.
Yeah. Green does sometimes struggle with blue for that very reason. Its nice big stompy creatures are quite easily counted. If you're paying like a hefty 10 mana, or obviously 6 mana in this case, for a big old creature, they just go 2 mana. No. It's nice to get around that. Nice creature back from Alara.
Good creature.
So next up we have Titanic Growth. 1 colourless, 1 green, instant. Target creature gets +4/+4 at end of turn. Nice card. It's less efficient than Giant Growth, but if we're not going to get Giant Growth reprinted, it's a nice one to have instead. Giving a creature +4/+4 is brilliant. It makes it survive most red direct damage, and makes it hit for a lot more.
And if we haven't got Overrun in this deck, it becomes a lot more important.
Yeah.
Because you're buffing that one creature that has got trample already, rather than buffing lots of creatures that are going to get chump blocked. So I think that mixed with one of your big guys with trample, it's going to be a very, very useful card.
Yeah.
Right, next up we have Undergrowth Scavenger, which is a 4-drop with 1 green. It's a fungus horror with 0/0, and it enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. That's all graveyards, and that's how when it's entered. So it isn't variable to how many creatures you've got in the graveyard at that time. It's how many are in there at that moment when it gets cast, and then that's how it stays. I like this card. If you're dropping it on turn 4, you might find it a little bit tricky to get something worthwhile out of it. For 4 mana, you probably haven't got 4 creature cards in the graveyard by then. Also, if you're playing multiplayer, it could be an insanely good card for 4-drop.
Could be huge.
If you're playing against the white and the blue, maybe with the token generation or other green decks, maybe not so good, because a lot of their creatures might have been tokens and they won't be in the graveyard. But as it stands, I think that could be a very strong card, and I'd be quite happy to play that as a common. I think maybe you'd need to aim your deck and work it towards that, but playing with a bit of black could be quite good. I think green-black could be quite strong in this set.
So next up we have our lovely Sliver for this colour. Venom Sliver. 1 colourless, 1 green. Sliver. 1/1. Sliver creature you control at Death Touch.
Oh,
It's pretty nice.
wow.
So, 2 mana, it's a 1/1. Has Death Touch. So, on first glance, it's like a slightly worse version of Typhoid Rats. But then you realise it gives all your other Slivers Death Touch as well. And suddenly it gets a lot better.
It's not the mana Sliver
No.
that I was kind of hoping for. That would have made a Slither deck possible in this, but that's a very nice Slither.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay. Like we said before in other videos, I don't think we will see any Slither decks being made in limited, because there's one for each colour.
Difficult.
So
Yeah, there's not enough variety in them, and as you say, you've got to play all 5 colours to make it work.
but this card might help. The next one up, Verdant Haven. This is a lovely reprint. I love this card. It's a
Great card.
3-drop enchantment aura. Enchant a land. When it enters battlefield, you gain 2 life. So you've already got 2 life gain right there. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds 1 mana of any colour to his or her mana pool. It doesn't matter what that land produces already. You can add any colour of any mana.
A nice bit of mana ramp. Green's
Yeah.
good at it.
that is a very useful card, and once again, it's a common, so expect to see a lot of play of that card.
Yeah. So next up we have Vine Weft, which is 1 green, enchantment or enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Pay 4 colours and 1 green. Return Vine Weft from your graveyard to your hand. So early game, 1 mana to give your creature +1/+1. Not bad. Not bad at all. Late game, you can then pay the 5 to get it back from the graveyard after that creature has inevitably been killed, and pay the 1 mana after that to then buff up another one of your creatures. Got a big stompy creature with trample, I don't know, like Siege Worm, immediately make him a 6/6 with trample.
And don't forget, the 5 to return a 1 cost card might sound like a lot, but when you're playing green, sometimes you do have 5 mana that sat around doing nothing at the end of a turn.
Yeah.
So you might as well get it back. It's a very nice card, and it's one of those cards that you could lose to your graveyard quite happily, and you know it's there, so you can go and grab it. A bit of Necromancy always goes down well. Right, next up we have the green wall for this set, and this is Wall of Mulch, which is a 2-drop for a 0/2 with Defender. I like that. 0/4, sorry. 0/4 wall with Defender, creature can't attack, that's fine because it's a 0/4, and it also has the ability to pay 1 green mana, sack the wall, draw a card. Really, really useful because you can put it up against something that's massive. When it's going to die, you can then pay the green mana, sack it, and go and get a draw off of that death. It doesn't feel too bad losing a 0/4 of that.
Again, drawing in green, although weirdly in this set it appears to have been up quite a bit.
Yeah.
So here we have our last card for green, and it just happens to be our legendary creature. Yisan the Wanderer Bard. 2 colours and 1 green, legendary creature, human rogue, 2/3. 2 colours, 1 green, tap. Put a verse counter on Yisan the Wanderer Bard. Search a library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to the number of verse counters on Yisan. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Well, Yisan helps you to work a little bit like a cheap version of Birthing Pod. It progressively gets more counters on it, so it progressively gets to search for bigger and bigger creatures. It's nice. It's a nice little interaction.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how much play it'll see, although in limited it could be pretty good. 2/3 is not a small body for a creature to have, and it only costs 3 mana itself.
Yeah, I think, to be perfectly honest, I think it could take a lot of time in limited because you're tapping it down. If you were just paying 3 mana to put it on, that would then start getting very, very sick. But I think if you could maybe in standard have a look at making some untapping abilities for it, something like that. I think that there's more play in this than it would be in standard, and I think in standard it might get very limited to only having 2 or 3 counters on it.
Yeah.
And it's going searching for a creature card. And that does help you thin your deck out of creature cards, of the low level creature cards, fairly early on. You can go and get things like your cheap elves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I quite like it. I'd play it.
Yeah.
Okay then guys, so that's it for the greens. Check out the rest of our videos. We've done all the other colours so far. We're going to have one last video left to do, which is going to be multicolours, it's going to be artefacts, and it's going to be land-based cards. So that's going to be one last big video. And we will see you soon.
Till next time.
Enjoy playing, guys.